Hey guys, today we're going over my plate carrier setup, and we're coming at this from the background of me being a police officer and then also having prior military experience. We're going to talk about concepts around a plate carrier, why I set mine up the way you do, and then maybe giving you some tips and tricks on how to set yours up as well. If you guys enjoy these videos and you want to see more of them, obviously hit the like and subscribe. That way you can see more of us. All right, so the first thing I'd like to talk about with any piece of gear is always your mission set. Okay, so everything you do has to have a purpose, whether it's building a gun, building out a belt, building out a plate carrier. These are all things that are going to aid us better as shooters, tacticians, whatever it is your pathway of shooting is or your pathway of tactics is. This needs to be a discussion. Okay, so really what I'm trying to say is, what is your why? Is your why law enforcement? Is your why being a patrol? Is your why being a concerned citizen? Maybe your why is I'm in the military, okay? Like I need to set it up etc. way, or I need this, this, and this on my plate carrier. All of those circumstances and all those jobs, all those titles, they all demand certain things and different things out of gear. So first and foremost, you need to establish your why. The second thing I think you need to figure out is, what do you want this piece of kit to accomplish? For me personally, I need three things out of a plate carrier. I need ballistic protection. Otherwise, I might as well just be wearing a chest rig if I just want to just carry ammo and carry a radio. Secondly, I need to be able to put holes in people. It needs to aid me in putting holes in people. It needs to aid me in plugging holes in people. These are the three things I want out of my plate carrier system. I've seen a multitude of different setups across a multitude of different job types. I will tell you this, setting up and finding out what your needs are for this is 100% individualistic to you. So just make sure you keep that in mind. Like, don't always take, well, the military special operations guy's advice for setting up a plate carrier, because what he needs in his mission set and what he needs day in, day out in his job is probably 100% different to you as a civilian or maybe you as a law enforcement officer. Secondly, a big thing for me when it comes to building out a plate carrier is establishment of first and second line gear, okay? So first line gear are things that I need immediately now, all right? So like for me personally, what I need immediately now is my pistol and my mags for my pistol. That is my first line gear. Always has been, always will be. You can also throw medical into that as well. So like for me, let's just say as a cop, I'm always gonna have my pistol belt on me. I'm always gonna have my pistol on me and my mags and a tourniquet on me. Those things never leave. But what I may not always have on me is my vest, like because I might be, on lunch, take my vest off to eat lunch and stuff like that. So what I want my plate carrier to fill in is the stuff that my belt can't do. Okay, now the other thing to further subset this is that on that belt, am I carrying pistol ammo? Am I carrying rifle ammo? I only carry pistol ammo on my belt. I carry any rifle ammo on my second line gear, which would be my plate carrier, which brings me to my second point, which is, what is your second line gear? Okay, so for me, second line gear is a plate carrier or a plate carrier type. It's gonna be rifle ammo, maybe further medical equipment, extra tourniquets, stuff like that. To me, that is what second line gear is for me in this job. It might be an extra light, pens, whatever it is, just depends on what I'm doing that job on that day. Establish what your first line gear is. Establish what your second line gear is. Figure out what your plate carrier can do for you that your battle belt might not be. Maybe you want your plate carrier to be a standalone system, in which case it's going to kind of be this hybrid thing where it has both your first line and second line gear on it. And there's a lot of historical factors to that, especially early in the GWOT. Not everybody was wearing a gun belt, not everybody was wearing a pistol belt. All their gear was on their vest or on a chest rig or something like that. So those types of mindsets can make sense, but me personally, I like to distribute the load, okay? So I don't want everything on my shoulders. I'd rather distribute the load between my shoulders and my hips, and that's just a personal thing. If you want to throw everything on a plate carrier and you want it to be the end-all be-all, this is what I grab when stuff gets bad, hey, by all means. So another thing to kind of like touch on real quick, like let's just talk about purpose, okay? So for me, we talked about ballistic protection, putting holes in people, plugging holes in people. Those things are on this plate carrier, okay? And what I mean by purpose is like, let's just think critically real quick. What I commonly see is people will go buy a really cool backpack or like a heliostrategic flat pack or something from First Spear or insert etc. cool company, and they'll throw that on the back of their plate carrier and they'll put flashbangs and handcuffs and all these cool things on it, okay? Well, that stuff's real cool, but if you do not work in a team, it's not doing anything for you. You can't reach this, you can't do anything with it, especially if you need it now. So there is absolutely no point in putting stuff on your back if you are a one-man show. So unless you're working in a team, which is why I bring this topic up, I would just completely avoid anything on your back. And you guys see, I'm not always working in a team, so I don't keep a bunch of stuff on my back. I have an identifier and a light, that is it. Everything else fulfills its purpose for me. So I have mags, medical inside this pouch here. We'll kind of deep dive into this later in the video. And a light source, but that's, you know, that's a utility more than anything else. A lot of you that are privy to this topic, you know, if there's a plate carrier out there you can think of a purpose for, somebody's making it, whether it's overt, covert, slimline, all these things, right? Again, this kind of comes back and you need to figure out what works for you. I can tell you this, for my plate carrier, the way this is set up is it's meant to be versatile, okay? I would tell you this, it's most certainly not a covert plate carrier, but it is certainly set up that it can fit a multitude of different things for overt situations. And this kind of brings me into my next topic of like capabilities. And you can further dilute this into like, what does it need to do for you equipment wise, or what do you need to do for your team? And you guys can see out here off to my right hand side, I have like I have a bunch of different placards and a few different things I want you guys to see in terms of capabilities that this plate carrier has for me. Now, this can fit a law enforcement role 100%. However, I don't always use it for that because sometimes I'm taking a CQB class, or I'm at the range training with my friends, or when I have like night shoots with the company that I run, I do night shoots monthly. I might not be carrying all these things, but I will have this plate carrier on me. So like, for instance, in a law enforcement role or maybe just a training role, I might drop one of these mags and I might throw a radio in this, okay? And what's pretty nice is I have these pull tabs on there for a reason, so I can keep this thing locked tight in here if it needs to be. That way, if I rough, tough, and scuffle with somebody, my plate carrier doesn't turn into a garage sale and I have mags and radios flying everywhere. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about when I'm like referring to capabilities. If you need to drop a mag and be able to put things in it, this is something to think about. Okay, now let's just say maybe I don't want all this stuff on the front of my body, or I want to change my setup to better aid me in a different mission set or a different thing I want to accomplish said day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unbuckle this here. I'll be able to take this off, put these back straps off here. Okay, take them off the side. Maybe for whatever it is I'm doing that day, especially like for classes, this is pretty convenient, this placard in and of itself. This is just for mags. Okay, so I would clip this in here, obviously Velcro to the back. This keeps my plate carrier super slick, so when I get down to prone position, I'm staying flat with the earth. I can also put a radio in this pouch if I want to. I can put handcuffs in here. I can put a taser in this pouch if I want to. This is stuff to think about when you're setting up a plate carrier, because you might be of the mindset like, hey, I just want to buy one plate carrier and be able to equip it for multiple different situations and the mission or whatever it is. And that's the stuff we talked about at the beginning of the video. You need to figure that out for yourself. Further going down the line here, okay? Let's just say maybe feel like for whatever reason, I'm getting into a knockdown, drag-out gunfight. Okay, now I can throw on my placard that has a capability of carrying 4 to 6 mags, and I can also use my pouches here. If I want to carry further ammo, I most certainly can. I can throw these on the cummerbund of my plate carrier, carry extra mags. Now I can carry up to 6 mags. Why I would ever do that, I have no idea. But the way this plate carrier is set up, the equipment I have on it, gives me the capabilities to do these things. Okay. Now, this being said, I can put other things in these pouches. I can put cuffs, maps, radios, taser, again, all these different nifty gifties and tools. Okay, so these are, I'm doing all this to help you guys visualize the things that you can do with a plate carrier, a single plate carrier, but just having multiple attachments instead. This is why I have mine set up the way it is, so that I can just, instead of having to buy a new plate carrier every time I have something that needs to fit per se mission, I don't have to buy a whole new plate carrier, I can just buy a different placard. As of right now, this is the best placard I have. This is a London Bridge Tactical placard for a plate carrier. You guys notice too, it can just clip right in here and it's good to go. It's very quick. This is the favorite one I have because this fits like the niche or the mission set that I use this plate carrier with the most, which is law enforcement and training purposes, okay? I'm able to keep all my medical in front of me. It's not behind me in a place where I can't get it. I can keep all my mags in front of me. And again, not to the side or off to right or to the left or behind me. It's in a place where I can get it. It's easily available. And you guys will notice too, again, second line gear. Rifle is not a primary for me. It's second line. Okay, so rifle mags on my plate carrier, which again is my second line gear. All right, let's touch on ballistic protection real quick. So you guys will notice I definitely have plates in the front and back of this thing. They are 10 by 12 plates. Completely blanking on what the manufacturer is, but I know they can stop up to 30-06 AP rounds. Okay, and this is a very light plate carrier. These aren't like just solid steel plates or sappy plates. These are very lightweight. I did pay a pretty penny for these. I believe that the one thing you should always spend a pretty penny on is something that can possibly save your life. So hence why it is what it is, okay? Now you guys also, there's soft armor, there's hard armor, there's a multitude of different types of soft armor and hard armor. We have really advanced in terms of soft armor now. We have soft armor that can stop shotgun slugs and some that can stop even rifle rounds. Just depends on how crazy you want to go with it. You may also want to put a soft armor plate behind your hard plate to help if you do get shot. You have a little bit of softness back there to take the blow, and you're not going to just completely crack your ribs. The other thing that's a hot topic with plate carriers is side armor or side plates. For this particular setup, as of right now, I do not have side plates. That is something I want to add going forward. I'm of the philosophy that if I'm wearing a plate carrier, I want the ballistic protection, okay? If I didn't want the ballistic protection, I wouldn't be wearing the plate carrier. So it makes a lot of sense to me to have front, back, and side plates. And again, multi different circumstances, but for me personally, I'm not wearing a plate carrier unless it's a tactical situation, right? So a threat can come from forward, aft, and left and right. So for me, it makes sense to have ballistic protection of all angles. Now you guys will notice this is like my patrol vest. I have soft armor in this vest that'll stop up to a shotgun slug, all right? Again, I'm completely stuck on the manufacturer, guys, but I know what it's capable of at least. You guys will also notice, like, again, this is a vest I would wear day in and day out as a cop. I wear this when I'm on patrol. So I have, without a doubt, side armor in this particular setup, because when I'm talking to somebody at their car, I'm not always just facing them at the 12 o'clock. I might be slightly sideways. So if someone were to try to take my life and just stick their gun out the side of the car, and I'm bladed in said circumstance, well, I at least have some side armor for some protection if I were to take a round, okay? Now, the other thing, just to make a quick note of before I put this away, like I told you guys, let's just pay attention to first line, second line gear. Second line gear, remember rifle mags are on my plate carrier or soft vest. We talked about that. But you guys will also notice too, like there's kind of a little bit of hybrid things going on. If you guys paid attention to the beginning of the video, I talked about, hey, like first line gear is stuff that I need now. Well, in law enforcement, I could need my taser now. That's 100% the thing. So this is kind of like where the hybridness of understanding first and second line gear kind of comes into play. Again, flashlights, pepper spray, these are things that I need now, especially working nights. Definitely need flashlights. I always have two is one is none. Okay, so with flashlights, I fit a multitude of different roles with that, okay? But just as a kind of a reference for you guys, like just take note of what I have here in terms of first line gear and second line gear. Okay, so now let's kind of get into the nitty gritty of the actual equipment setup on a plate carrier. Let's talk about mine real quick and then I'll start diving into a few things. The one thing you guys will notice on here is I don't have a comm setup because this is it's not a requirement for me. Like I said, I can take one of these mags out and then put said radio in it. We don't use these Motorola's, we use Marks radios, but have this here as an example. And then I can run that lapel mic up either behind, under my arm, and then just clip it up here, like so. Clip it up there and it'll stay there. If I need it, don't need it, etc. Now, the one thing I want you guys to keep in mind is where you're setting up something like this and where you're setting up something like this, okay? If I'm left-handed, it would not make any sense to have my lapel mic on my left-hand side, okay? Because when I go to mount a rifle, what's gonna get in the way? Lapel mic, okay? I've unfortunately had to learn this through experience, and as soon as I did it, I realized it was a mistake. I really like talking like this, and after a while I realized, okay, this is a problem, because now when I go to use my patrol rifle, I'm having to fight to get to my shoulder and get around a lapel mic. That's a no-go, not good. Okay, so I changed that like immediately. Secondly, and this is kind of common sense for some, but maybe not for all of you, keep your radio in a place that it can be accessible. I have seen people, especially like operators, like they'll throw on the back end of their plate carrier. That is 100% okay. But for somebody like me who may be switching channels or maybe turning down volume, turning up the volume, I need it somewhere in a place for me that is readily accessible with one hand, okay? So putting it in a mag pouch or having it somewhere mounted on my plate carrier is very advantageous for me. You guys will also notice there is, behind this plate carrier here, I do have this like little radio pouch, okay? Because sometimes I might want these 3 mags, but I still want to be able to carry my radio, so I can slide my radio into this pouch here and still have it off to the side. I have had to learn the hard lesson of radio placement and comm placement, to where if you have stuff all across your cummerbund and you're wearing a slung rifle, it just turns into this snag show of you getting your rifle snagged on this, or it's constantly rubbing up against your arm when you're sitting in a car, or when you go for a reload, you're bumping it on your way down to grab a mag off your belt, or even just manipulations off the vest. You're bumping into it, fighting around the antenna of the radio. These things are all things that I have found through experience which is a key component in this, okay? I know all this because I've had to experience all of it, and fortunately and unfortunately, a lot of that has been through failure. This is a fun topic, all right? So ammo. When it comes to my plate carrier, 3 is good for me. For my mission set that I want to accomplish with this plate carrier, 3 is absolutely fine. I can put a taser in here, put a radio in here, whatever it is I need to throw in here to maybe drop this down to 2 mags, A-okay, all right? No problem with that. If you're in a military role, 3 mags, depending on what your job is and what unit you're part of and what your tasks are. 3 mags might be like 50% of what your loadout should be, okay? Because a standard combat loadout is typically 6 mags, 5 at the very least. If you're a machine gunner, okay, obviously 3 mags is not doing it for you. I would say in law enforcement, 3 mags is plenty. If you're carrying more than that, then you probably work in a rough area. As a concerned citizen or like a prepared citizen, you want to protect your family, I would say 3 is a good starting point. This all comes back to what do you want it to accomplish. I will tell you that if you don't have much experience wearing it and you go to put all these things on your plate carrier, you're going to find out real quick, especially after like 20-30 minutes, like, oof, this is probably too much stuff and I made a mistake here. Let's hop into medical real quick. As you guys can see, medical pouch right here in the front. Before I even open this thing up, I want you guys to think about something. If I were to go prone with this plate carrier on, I would be sticking up, man, I mean, probably like 6 inches off the ground. So I'd be a little bit hunchbacked. Again, this is one of these things that I have kind of recently found with this plate carrier, running it in the way that I do. Having this medical pouch right here smack dab in the front is great because I can access it with both hands, because if, the unfortunate situation that one is shot, the other is not, you need to be able to access that tourniquet, chest seals, whatever it is, with one hand. So I thought like, hey, putting this on the front of my vest was gonna be a really good idea. I'm still bouncing back between the idea of it. I'm still figuring it out, wearing it, testing it, doing all these things, but as of right now, that's what I've discovered. So first thing is, you guys are gonna notice, oh my gosh, your medical pouch is in a plastic pouch. Oh my goodness. I have it like that for a few reasons. 1, weathering, and 2, I like to keep it all compacted in one place so when I open this up, I can grab it. If I need it, do whatever it is I need to do with it. Okay, I don't like stuffing, me personally, this is 100% personal opinion, I don't like stuffing this into all these different pouches and stuff like that, especially if I need to use these things. It's easier for me to have it in a collected point that I can pick up off my plate carrier and pick out whatever pieces and parts that I need, okay? Also, having it wrapped up like this is a little bit of weathering protection, rain, mud, things like that. An important part to take out of this is that I didn't just seal this thing and then leave it sealed, okay, so that when I need to get to this, I might have bloody hands or wet hands, whatever it is might be happening, okay? I've already popped the seal on this, okay, so it's just for protection of the stuff from weathering. First thing that's on top is my tourniquet. You guys will notice how I have this tourniquet staged, okay? This is a very important note. It's a little bit of a nugget for you. I cannot, if I had a penny for every time I see someone with the tourniquet staged like this, I could be a rich man and retire at 28, okay? When I need this tourniquet, obviously I'll expand it out, get it around whatever limb I need it around. In order to obviously tighten it down, I would pull the strap out, pull it tight, high and tight, all these things, right? But now in order to get this windlass up and moving, I now have to undo it, okay, and then crank this down. If me or somebody else is shot, guys, this is precious seconds, precious time that can be used towards helping the victim or helping myself, obviously, from hemorrhaging blood. So it's little stuff like this to pay attention to, especially when it comes to medical gear. The other thing is too, is I try to keep these things in pristine condition as I can. That's why it's in a covered place for this one in particular. I have added tourniquets to this plate carrier before, but I only do that when the mission requires it. Okay, as of right now, all my medical gear is in this front pouch. And you guys will also see how I have this tourniquet staged. Okay, this is kind of like a little bit of a nugget too. I have it staged so I can keep it in a little compact format, and then when I rip it open to use it, it's about the size of my leg, okay, or at least easily to fit around one of my legs, or easy to fit around one of my arms. So I have the strap done about halfway with the Velcro showing. That way when I push it together, it sticks, and it goes right into a tourniquet holder or into a medical pouch real nice when it's like this. In terms of medical gear, you carry whatever you want to carry. This isn't like per se a medical video, but I would tell you that the bare minimum you need in terms of medical gear is a tourniquet. If you want to carry chest seals and combat gauze and all these things, I think you should, especially on a plate carrier. It's a load-bearing piece of equipment for a reason, so why not, okay? But again, coming back to mission set, what its purpose is, you have to figure that out for yourself. Okay, so for me, it makes sense 100% to have these things. Kind of final thing to talk about with, I guess, I shouldn't say final thing, but final thing that I'm gonna talk about with this plate carrier is markers, okay? For some of you, you might not need any markers at all. If you're trying to be low profile and all these covert things, right? You don't want IR identifiers, you don't want IR lights, you don't want visible lights. Okay, that 100% makes sense. But for somebody like me and the role that I want this to fulfill, I want these identifiers. I want somebody to be able to see me under nods. I also want somebody able to see me like a patrol officer at night, and I'm wearing a green identifier so they know I'm a friendly and not a foe. So things like this for me are important, okay? As you guys can see, we have all these studio lights on, so this light is not intensely green or intensely bright. It's just enough to, under dark conditions, low light, no light, you can easily see a green glow coming from the front of this plate carrier, and then also on the back end of this plate carrier, okay? I do put one back here as well. Blink, solid, it doesn't really matter. It's not always gonna make sense to have these on. It's good to have them there for when they're needed. Just things to think about. You may not need them. What I would suggest, especially if you're in a role with an official title, like a law enforcement, military aspect, you should have identifying placard of a name, something like that, so somebody can identify you as friend or foe. And then obviously, you guys will notice too on my plate carrier here, I have my blood type, okay? Those things I think are very important, especially if you have a medical guy or a medic working on you. Now we're getting to the juicy part of the video, which is considerations, okay? This is stuff that is learned through experience, sometimes the good and sometimes the bad. I think to think about is this plate carrier cohesive to your kit? Meaning having all these bells and whistles on it, is your sling gonna snag on it? Are you not gonna be able to reach for your pistol mags from your belt? And again, that kind of comes back to the first line, second line gear topic, but I can tell you a million times in one that when I've set up plate carriers and vests for duty or for military use, when I have a lot of stuff in the front of my carrier, and then I have to either access something on my belt, it can be a pain, and then also sitting down. Okay, so obviously in the cruiser, I'm sitting down, and I have noticed I had to change gear around, like, hey, the way my patrol vest is set up, it's sticking out too far and I cannot access my pistol mags, or I can't access my handcuffs the way I want them to. Things like this, these are things to consider, and honestly guys, the only way to figure these things out is you have to use them, okay? You're never gonna like set up a plate carrier and it's the end all be all and it's good to go as soon as you do it. You're gonna find out as you go out and use it, wear it, shoot with it on the range. These are simple things to do. You're gonna find out what you need and don't need. A ton of times, especially in classes that I teach now, people will come with kit on, and then by the end of the class, they've either removed parts of that kit or have removed the kit entirely because they're finding out over time over tension, man, this isn't working for me, okay? So think about your rifle sling, think about access to your first line gear when it comes to wearing a plate carrier system. All right, so I have my plate carrier on now. All right, you guys will notice, I have this thing up towards the clavicle, like so right here, like right between, up to your collarbones, as some would say. I want the top of the plate to be in line with my collarbones. The whole idea of having ballistic protection in a plate carrier, we want it covering vitals, okay? We're not gonna get complete ballistic protection. That's the whole point of a plate carrier, right? Like you only get plates. You don't have all this armor completely protecting your torso. So if you only have 2 plates, it has to protect what's most important, heart and lungs, okay? So heart and lungs are obviously top end of my chest here, okay? So right now, as this plate carrier sits, heart and lungs are protected. And on the back of the plate carrier, I don't have this like tilted effect going on. It's square in my back, covering the same place and on my back as it would on my chest. A lot of times I'll see people like have their plate carrier adjusted where it needs to be in the front, and then in the back it's like halfway down their back. All right, this is obviously a problem. People get shot in the back, it happens. Okay, so it's important to have your plate carrier on even height on both sides of your back and your chest. The other thing you guys will notice, I am a girthy guy. Okay, I am a little bit wider than this 10 by 12 plate. That's fine. This goes back to my main point being it needs to cover vitals. To anything that you get, there's always a trade-off. You get a bigger plate, you're now a little bit less versatile, you're now carrying more weight. These are things to keep in mind. The next topic I want to talk about is this system getting in the way of what's on your belt? Okay, you guys kind of heard me talk about earlier in the video where, hey, if I sit down, I can't get as easily access to my mags, I can't get access to my cuffs. These are things I learned sitting in a patrol car on duty. Oh man, I thought it was super cool to carry extra mags on my cummerbund, or maybe carry extra cuffs, put my radio off to my side, like over here, because it was comfortable. I didn't have to have it in the front of me. It wasn't constantly like poking me in the chin when I sit down, stuff like that. And then I realized after a few traffic stops and having to draw my gun on duty, I realized that having stuff on my left-hand side that's impeding that draw stroke to happen quickly and efficiently, it was not a good time, okay? And there were a few times I've gotten hung up on it, and
Again, like I talked about earlier, unfortunate lessons I had to learn, but in the grand scheme of things, very fortunate lessons I had to learn. If you guys are carrying a handgun on whatever particular side it is, left or right, make sure that left or right side is clean of any debris or gear, because all it is just going to inhibit you when you have to draw from either a standing position, a seated position, or maybe even prone, okay? So again, just quick things to think about. Last point to talk about with this is mobility. All right, first and foremost, you guys heard me talking about like going prone. That's like one of the first things I always think of when I'm wearing a plate carrier, just because of my time in the military wearing one. Unfortunately, the way I have it set up right now, if I lay prone with this plate carrier on, I have this like the middle of my torso sticks up off the ground, and it makes it super awkward to shoulder rifle and shoot prone. That is a cross I'm willing to bear for this particular setup, because that position is not always something I'm going to be working in the role that I'm in, okay? Can it change? Absolutely, man. Like I said earlier in the video, anything that there may be a positive, there's going to be a negative that you're going to find. You just have to be able to work around the changes or work around the downsides if you do come across them, okay? And that's something I'm willing to work across. It's fine with me for now. These are things you're going to experience and find as you actually use your kit, whether it's in a real life setting or a training setting. Obviously, you want to do this in a training setting first, but again, just little nuggets for you guys.
If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like and subscribe. If you guys have questions, drop them in the comment section below. Also, we have a Discord channel, okay? So make sure you guys drop questions in there as well as if you have them. Like and subscribe, guys. We'll see you next time.